Okay, so this video will teach you how to build a simple layout in Panda. So by opening the software, we then see this layout design button, which we open. In the pop-up window, you'll now see a simple rectangle, which is by default 24 by 36 meters. We can edit the side lengths by clicking on a side, entering a new length in the button, clicking back on the window, and you can see now we can change the shape to whatever we want. So just simply click on any of the sides, and that will create different sizes of rectangles. To then add floors, we press Add Shape as Upper Floor, and you can build in the floors as you need, and you can change story heights as you need to as well. Putting in, we can also add basements. Pressing OK, run the analysis, and you'll see that each of these shapes, each of these buildings is now the shape that we entered at all levels. Okay, so now we're going to show how to make a slightly more complicated floor plate. So we open up the software, click on Layout Design. Let's just change the length of this as we did before. What we're now going to do is make a more complex shape. So if we click on Edit Floor Shape at the top, this now brings up some different options. We can click on a side length. And now by following the letters and editing, we can start to create something. I'm going to create an L-shaped building. Once we're happy, we do Update Shape, then Add Shape as Upper Floor as we did before, and we can now see our building's L shape. Now, there's various things we can do here, so there's no need to have each shape the same, each floor the same, sorry. So we can click on Edit Floor Shape again, click on here, and let's extrude it back. So if we do L as 24, E as minus 12, say, C is 0, Update Shape, and when we add shape as Upper Floor, we can see that the building's reducing. And we can follow the same principle. Minus 12, 24, 0. And now we can create a building that's cascading up. This will have an impact on the grids, and the results that come out, which will be covered in a separate video. Press OK, run the analysis. And if we stop it, we click on a building here, and then we can see as we go up the building that the shape is reducing. Okay, so next we're going to show how to add some more complex features into our simple Panda shape. So we open it up again with our basic shape. Now this time we're going to add an opening or a core. It's the same principle for both. So basically we want to put a void in the middle. So we click on there, click on a side, and again we do a very similar process to before. So we start entering our dimensions. Let's make this a bit further in, I think. And let's just make a kind of 3 meter by 3 meter hole. This could be an opening, it could be a core. Create. And now what that will do is that will add it in on every level. So when we run, this will have an impact on how our floors are broken down. So you can see here, you've got the core, and that's dictating, or the opening, sorry, and that's dictating the layout on each level. Regardless of what we do, that's always there. You can see how it affects the grids. And again, that's covered by more detail in terms of the impact this will have on your structure. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to set the column spacings and to fix columns. So if we go on Layout Design, again, let's put in a very simple rectangle. So if we click on there, let's leave it as it is. So let's say, for the sake of argument, we want to fix a line of columns somewhere. So if we do fix column locations, let's say we have a building with a corridor through the center. So if we click on here, we can now set a side length at, say, 10 meters, create. We can do another one at 14 meters, create. And what we've basically done is force two grids. So in the event that the columns want to be on these lines, this will now split the slab accordingly. Add shapes as upper floors, press OK, run analysis. And what we can now see is that of all the generated options, we've got a clear column grid, which has been forced by the software, by the positions where we've set. This is especially useful, for example, if you're building off existing footings or adding additional stories to another building. Okay, so in this clip, we're going to just show how we set column spacings. So build our default shape, we add a few floors in, press OK. Now, these parameters here always need to be set according to the project you're working on. So let's show the impact of putting these right up. So we're stretching these right out between 3 and 24 meters. We run analysis. We can see that for our simple shape, Pandas generated 88 different grids, 16,400 options. So what we can see by clicking on a layout is that as we go up, okay, so now we're going to talk about the impact of the column spacings. So set up our shape with our basic rectangle. Let's add in a few floors. But allow us to change the parameters, minimum, maximum column spacings, and this will affect how many grids are generated. So if we stretch these right out, so let's lower this to 3, then we run an analysis. We can see that Pandas generated 70 different grids with 13,000 possible combinations. This will take a lot longer to run, and a lot of results that come out, particularly at the lower end of Carbon, might not be the most practical with really tight grid spacing. So this option here, for example, is 3.4 by 3.6. So what we can do is we can use this and actually provide something more practical. So for example, if the client specifies that grids need to be a minimum of 6 meters, we can change this. And if we know, for example, that there's a restriction on length on site, or we just don't want to go too long with our grid span to save on carbon, we can change that, run again, and we can see that number drops right down to 6 different grids and 1,000 options. And you can see how much quicker it runs. And actually what it's doing is filtering out a load of results that may not be practical. We don't have to have the same range in either the X or the Y. And we can obviously run multiple variants on top of each other and see the impact.